Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome along to QRL.com.au. We are into the finals action here at the QRL Junior State Championships, and we're looking forward to this one between Southeast Queensland Green and the Northern Marlins. I'm joined by the Regional General Manager of the QRL, Glen Ottaway. Glen, very good morning to you.
Yeah, thanks, Cameron. It's a pleasure to be here, and day 4 at the State Junior Carnival is always a fantastic day, and the first 3 days of action, as we were just talking before off air, have been real quality, and the closeness of all the fixtures has been a real highlight this year.
Yeah, it certainly has. Let's have a quick look at the two teams as they make their way out. Firstly to SEQ Green, the fullback Waylon Caldwell. The halves are Carl Oloapu and Cooper Hersom in a dummy half. Number 19, Braden Tuila, and locking the scrum is Thomas Lunny. They're coached by Michael Taylor and sit on top of the under-14 boys ladder. And a very impressive game yesterday afternoon. Saw the Northern Marlins qualify for
kicking that way.
The final here is there.
You're kicking that way.
Will Shears in at fullback.
Kicking that way.
England, the halves, and Xavier Kerris is in at dummy half. Harrison Lee is our referee for this one. Glenn, how are you seeing it? I'm thinking a close one.
Oh, absolutely. This will be a real contest. And run out to the one side of the field. So Fusion early on, but yeah, you mentioned reference last night's game between Northern
What way are you going?
and Central, which was effectively a semi-final. And I guess a key indicator here will be how the Northern boys start, because obviously that was a fairly physical and close encounter last night. Great challenge down the line, so covered well. And sort of good showing here against SEQ, who have been a strong side throughout the carnival as well.
Stay behind the ball.
They certainly have.
Ball
So we're about
first,
to get
yeah, ball
underway.
first.
2:25 minute halves played in the under-14 boys. No time off for injury. Let's get underway. And the Northern Marlins are going to be running from right to left on your screen.
3 to the side. Here. Hold, Hold. Go one.
Star in this carnival, Glen. He scored a couple of tries.
2 centre. Holding here. Hold. Go 2.
Yeah, his dad is sitting down in the
10, 19. 19, release the ball. 14, holding. Hold. Hold. Go 3.
So good pedigree there.
Outside.
Early kick
Left
in
side's
the count
good.
by Henry Thorpe, goes downfield, but safely taken out the back by Southeast Queensland Green. Their fullback in. Caldwell brings it
9,
up.
stand up. Holding here 12.
Yesterday's game
Hold.
between
Go
Northern
on.
and Central, it was a cliffhanger. 18 points to 16. The Marlins
13.
got up.
Together and square. Holding here 6. Hold. Go 2.
Couple of rates
7, released. Holding here 6. Hold. Go 3. That's good.
and the poise shown by both teams, so we always have to revert back to them, but these are only 30 40.
9 off the ball. Here. Hold. Go 4. 10, you're too deep.
So they shift the ball through
Good
the
now.
middle of the field. A good ball away to the back rower in Zaya Vella. He's also been
Good.
on
Good.
song in this carnival. They get the ball on the left-hand side of the field. Barrow goes for the try line. He'll get there, and it's first point Southeast Queensland Green as the try is awarded. It was a good shift left for the first points of the match.
Yeah, look, it was a great shift there, but it was the 12, Vayavella, who was able to beat his man and then get a tremendous offload away. But certainly Matthew Barrow had plenty to do there in the corner. Northern scrambled as they did in yesterday's game, but he did the Corey Oates approach and just sort of steamrolled straight over there.
Greer's coming now.
Over the top of the
He's on
Northern
the sideline.
corner and slams it down. So that's a great start for Southeast Queensland Green.
4 points to 0. Kick to come. It's going to be a tough kick. Mind you, the breeze seems to have died just a little bit. It's been a gusty 3 days here at Sunshine Coast Stadium, but a little bit of relief on day 4.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of blue sky as well. Sunshine Coast is trying to live up to its name. We haven't seen a lot of sun over the first 3 days, but conditions are challenging, and probably what we've seen early in the tournament is that those teams running from south to north, that's where the points have come because of the breeze. Not so much a factor today, but the track still looks fantastic, of course, here at Sunshine Coast Stadium.
Yeah, that's right. It's been tremendous. The kick is going to be waved away. It's been tremendous, the field over the last couple of days, and hats off to Sunshine Coast Council. They've done a terrific job with the surface, and it just hasn't really decided, particularly today, what the weather wants to do. We've had some scattered showers, but then some sunshine as well. credits both, all the sides who've played actually. I think the ball security
Behind the ball.
10 out of 10 for the poor
Stay
conditions.
inside
There
here.
hasn't been too much drop ball when it's just absolutely bucketed down.
Yeah, no, you're right, Cameron. It hasn't impacted on the quality of the football at all, and certainly has an impact on the team's willingness to throw it around and play some footy as well.
This is what we like to see. Culminates in the under-14 boys to this earlier in the 3v4 game.
5, square marker.
Holding.
Hold. Hold.
We
13
checked
one
up
step.
against South
No one.
East Queensland wide.
Good
It's
now.
been a pretty even competition. SEQ Green have sat on top comfortably, but the other
7
three
race.
sides, it was 1
9
point
holding.
in it, basically between
Hold.
Northern Central and the SEQ wide side. Bit of an upset yesterday, actually.
9
with,
off the
South
ball.
East Queensland
Holding.
getting the winner.
Hold 13.
SEQ
10
Green
offside.
picking the under 14s.
3.
Might be wrong. Is that right? Trying to think actually now. I think I'm referring to the under 16s. It was definitely White got the win over the 16s as they go on a touch.
Yeah,
Pull up that
look on
ladder and have
Northern.
a bit of a look.
Look on Northern.
I think the point they
Come here. SEQ feed. SEQ feed. Let's touch. Yeah.
Where they've had to have the situation where they're backed up on play 2 games. In a
Yeah.
row.
Left foot forward for me. Yep, there we go. Ball lane. There we are. Back in the middle. Face the sideline, 6.
Work there on the corner post. You always love
Face the
watching games from
6,
behind
face the
goal
sideline.
posts at one end.
Yep, when you're ready. Out.
That as it comes out the back of the
Backwards,
scrum.
play on, play on.
Very happy that he didn't go for it
Surrender.
there. And dived on by
Square.
Waylon
Hold.
Caldwell.
Go 1. Marcus on side.
Queensland Green, right side of the field.
10
SEQ with
race.
the early
9
4-point
holding.
lead.
Hold 7. Hold.
5 minutes gone in this decider. Of course, for the last 2 years, in
11,
this decider,
stand
it's been a
up.
16-all
here.
draw.
Go 3.
Last year was the 2 SEQ sides who couldn't be split after the 50 minutes up there in Mackay, and then 2 years ago we were just across the road at Kalana.
Stand up, Henry.
Central and
Holding
SEQ
here.
Green
Hold.
again, I think it was. I know
Go
there was definitely
4.
one of the SEQ sides who couldn't be split. There, as they get another breakaway, would you believe it? Valavella has broke the line once again. He's got speed to burn as well. And the put down
Before the
was
line.
dubious.
Before the
and
line
it's
is
been
a
called
scrum.
a knock on.
Scrum, no
in
scrum.
goal.
It's before the
Well,
line.
before the line
Scrum.
is the call there from Harrison Lee. So
it's a
good
scrum.
defence, sliding across,
scrum.
desperate defence. Glen keeps them.
He's outside the field play.
That was a feature of Northern's play yesterday.
No, he dropped it before the line.
He's crossed a couple of times.
He's outside the field of play.
Scramble defensive. Tremendous run though by Lavella. I mean, that's twice now that he's had
Put him in that line.
down on that
Don't have
left
to get through, boys.
Ball lane.
The Marlins
Right
will
foot
need
for me.
to
Right
address
foot 10.
because
10 other
he's
foot.
dominating
Here we go. In here, in here. When you're ready, Henry.
Yes, SEQ.
Ball in.
Obviously,
Out.
most players like to favour right to left. They've gone the whole time.
Together. Holding here. Hold.
Northern
Go on.
now, a bit of work to do to get out of their own end. And
To the side.
SEQ up for
Hold.
the fight.
Hold. Go 2.
Trying to jam them down their end of the field. Working their way again. And a good carry from the prop forward for Northern in Samson
Stand
Shower.
now, 11. Holding 8. Hold. Hold.
Playing
Go
at
3.
31 metres outside of their own line now. To the
Go
left-hand
first, stand
side
up. Holding
of the
14.
field,
Hold
which
10.
is the fourth
Hold.
tackle now.
Go 4.
Long ball there from Karras.
Inside.
Middle
Get
of the
10. Get
field,
10.
early kick again. I think Benioni playing in the halves. No, it's actually 13. Saleh, who has had a tremendous carnival.
12.
with
Square
the boot.
marker. 13 here. 13. 13. Holding. Go 1.
A reasonable set from the Marlins there, although with the kick, that second tackle.
Stand now. 12. Hold. Hold 7. Hold. Go 2.
SEQ very strong through the middle with the defence and very physical. And when the Marlins did shift the ball and get to that edges, we saw a good charge from Chow. So maybe something in that for the Marlins to look towards to go to those edges through the rest of this first half.
Stand up now. Holding 7. Hold.
So they'll play it back into the centre of the field. Hersom it is. It's been touched. 6 to go. The call is Lawrence runs down the western side of the field. They're able to slide. And Terry Connors makes the tackle. But the tackle count restarts. They'll go to Lottie. It is able Lottie here on the right-hand side for South East Queensland. Plays it back to Taylor. Now more work for Lawrence. He came up with the line break. Taylor out to back, skips. Long ball centre field. Caldwell loses his feet. He's able to get himself up though. Not much coming on. They're not able to offload there, and will be held upright in the tackle. And they go now to the half. Hersom finds the 5'8" Oahu. Another lovely ball. Vayavella will score a try. SEQ second. 9 minutes through this decider, and Green take an 8-0 lead.
Oh, look, we've called Vayavello twice now. Lovely ball for him, though, but he ran the great line there. We've called him 3 times now in as many sets, and, he again crashes over there and plants the ball down. This time, the worrying signs here for the Marlins, because really for the first 10 minutes or so of this final, it's been all SEQ Green.
Do you think the Northern Marlins may have been affected by last night's thriller? He was, not only was it a very intense game, but maybe emotionally as well, because the Northern Marlins in the last few years have probably been, a little bit under par per se results-wise. This year, all of a sudden, they've come out a brand new team and fought hard and got themselves well-deservingly in the final. Yeah,
look, we mentioned it in the pre-call, Cameron, that the start for the Marlins is going to be crucial in today's game off the back of last night's physical encounter with Central. And irrespective of, of results across today, I think your point is valid around the Marlins. And I was speaking to Scott Nosworthy during the carnival. He's very proud of the fact of the distance they've come over the last 3 or 4 years in improving overall their development programs up in the north, and their performances across all competitions here is as testament to that, because they've been highly competitive, and it's been a strong showing for them in 2019.
So the kick was waved away, and it remains at 8-0. Favour of Southeast Queensland Green over the Northern Marlins. 10 gone in the first half.
Onside here, ball first.
It'll be Saleh's job to restart the game downfield. They let it bounce. They need to complete this set of 6. It's okay, though. It has gone backwards, and Vayavella, the try scorer, looks to bring it forward. I think it's crucial here, Glenn, that the Northern Marlins just work hard in defence. Maybe try and keep them down this end of the park. This is the second tackle, and they're going to be tackled 15 metres outside of their own line.
Yeah, absolutely. And despite the fact that it has been all SEQ for the first 11 or 12 minutes of this contest, the score is only 8-0 without converting tries. It's still very much a contest here, as we see that some strong defence from the Marlins has forced an error.
So the scrum's going to pack in favour of Northern Marlins. It's really their first opportunity. They haven't really been down this end of the park through the game, so a good opportunity now to attack. And I think at this level, the ball, we've had a little bit of intermittent rain throughout the morning, and the ball a little bit slippery, depending on, maybe it might be a brand new Steeden out there as well, which would make things just a little bit trickier. But I think it's just going to be a safe set here, and just be patient in the game. There's plenty of time to play. One thing I think maybe happens at this level is they lose the footy. They can't do that in a final. I think one thing of this, Glenn, is that sometimes the try line just gets a little bit too tempting, and that even happens in the NRL.
Yeah, that's right. We come back to the fact that these are 14-year-old boys. They're certainly the best 14-year-old boys from around the state. But, mistakes will happen, but it's a little unfortunate mistake there. As you said, Northern's 13. Saleh has been really strong throughout the tournament, and there was an opportunity lost there for Northern, points or not, but just to spend a little bit of time down at this end of the field.
So now Southeast Queensland get the opportunity to work their way to their own end, playing it just outside their 20-metre line. Still going there for number 18, Jaden Usher, number 18, Rain Began, who's now on the field. 8 short of halfway, but a penalty ain't going to help things for the Northern Marlins. It'll be a piggyback upfield for Southeast Queensland. Might be one of our first of the game. I don't think there's been too many penalties.
No, that is the first one for the game, and we said it's a double-up error for the Marlins. The mistake off the back of the scrum, and then a penalty, which I don't think you need to give this SEQ side too many second chances somehow.
They're going to attack, looks like the left edge again. Vayavella plays it. Centre field, options either way. They'll go to Bagan again. It's a good carry forward, some good post-contact meters. You're lucky not to give away a penalty there, Apu. Some good running meters from him. Beautiful ball at the line to Ciala. But he goes to ground 11 short. Taula. Hersom trying to pass it to himself there. I think he was trying to show the ball and it came free. He was able to regather before any defenders touched the ball though. Taula again. Back to Apu. Doesn't mind a line break or two. Busting through the tackles, the 5'8". Last one coming up for South East Queensland now. Taula. Hersom, left-hand side of the field, was an off pass. Caldwell picks up some fancy footwork from him. He's got his eyes on the try line. And he's going to fall short. Good defensive effort from the Marlins. We'll see the ball turned over about 30 centimetres short of the try line.
Yeah, look, a strong set there by SEQ, but well done to the Marlins for holding him out. If you're going to turn the ball over, though, it may as well be 30 centimetres out from your own try line. I think there's an error there by the Marlins coming off their own line. A feature of that last set was certainly Apu's willingness to take the line on, and if he continues to do that and dig deep into that line, it's could spell some trouble here for the Marlins as they've turned it over, and SEQ will be on the attack again.
I think it's vitally important that players in all facets of the game play eyes up footy, and that's what we like to see from the 5'8" there, just trying things. So now another great opportunity for South East Queensland to further consolidate points. And I think the message has just got to get to the Marlins next time they have an attacking set. They're going to get one coming up here. It's just settle here. They've got to get out of their own end. I think just some smart carries, the back five getting involved.
That was a little bit over Lawrence's shoulder there, the centre for South East Queensland, but probably should take those because he had nothing but daylight in front of him. But great carry from the 5 Connors to get Norton out of trouble, and now they'll get the piggyback, and here's their chance to spend time down the South East Queensland end. Cameron?
Yeah, good run, earned the right, and Connors earns the penalty. So a perfect opportunity here for the Marlins. I think this is where their senior players in the group here just need to get into the rest of the team to say, settle down here. You'll regularly see Cooper Cronk, well now the Roosters in the back just settling down the side in these situations. You mentioned earlier, Glenn, that it is only 8-0. So realistically, whilst it's 2 tries, it looks a little bit prettier on the scoreboard if you're chasing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the man you're talking to there would be Henry Thorpe for the Marlins. He was strong, very strong last night in the big moments against Central. So as I call him, he takes a strong carry there.
Playing it in SEQ's territory now. They shift the ball right. A push pass, though. Sees an error from Beau Jones. Maybe, I don't think Will Shears had to throw that pass then.
No, it's a little bit just too sideways. Everybody was sort of catching, running sideways and tipping on, and eventually they were just going to run out of space. So it just required someone to straighten that line of attack and take the tackle as you suggested.
Just there. Left foot again. There we go.
These under 14 players we've got next door to us, actually, Queensland Academy of Sports selectors. I believe they're doing a little bit of looking for the state side, I believe, and with the girls as well. Glenn should mention the QAS under 15, under 18 selectors, because with the under 15 side, they have each region now has a under 15 side, I believe.
Yeah, it highlights the importance of this carnival, Cameron, as a real development opportunity for kids. So it's it's not necessarily the be all and end all in terms of winning a competition, but it's just a talent identification process, and again part of that development, the talent development sort of pathway that the QRL offers.
So they've lost the ball in the process there. He ain't happy. The back rower and Lottie more suggesting maybe there was a few hands in the ruck area, but not in the opinion of the referee.
Yeah, perhaps a little bit fortunate, but the Marlins have really got to dig in here. There's a few hands on hips as the walk to that scrum from them, so they're obviously feeling a little fatigued after yesterday's effort. And I think it's a big 7 minutes for them here. They've just got to be able to hang on and grind out this last 7 minutes to go into half time still in the contest.
Northern again. They've just got to complete a set. They might have completed one in this match. It's a good carry though to settle things down a little bit. Still plenty of time in this first half here for the Marlins to capitalise. Thorpe, an early kick from inside the 40. Downfield kick. It's got to be chased by Cordwell. They've got to run. That's a good kick chase, though. Will Shears leading the charge. And the first tackle is going to be made 15 short of the SEQ line.
Yeah, I think Thorpe was no doubt looking for a 40-20 there. I think he was inside the 40 and probably just didn't get the angle that he needed. But a strong kick chase has resulted in a reasonable set for him.
As they further bring the footy up, another good carry there. That's Larry Ciala, who goes to ground. 8 short of halfway. Left side, they've attacked predominantly this first half. And that's where they are again here. On the last now, they've just entered Northern's half, so they should be relatively happy. But SEQ just doing the little things right at the moment, completing sets. That's okay from the winger as well, just to let the ball bounce as Bo Jones carries it forward. And I think for SEQ, the coaching staff, Michael Taylor in charge there, he'd be quite happy with his side at the moment.
Yeah, they have. They've controlled the game well. Probably this last, 4 or 5 minutes with a couple of the little errors and the giving away the penalties. There's some areas that they can focus on, but I think certainly he would be impressed with how his side settled into this first half of the under-14 boys final.
Here, holding here. Hold.
Important the Northern Marlins get to their kick, and they're going to kick early again. From well inside the 40 was Saleh. He's got a bit of a boot we mentioned on this, and again, not a bad kick chase from the Northern Marlins. They come united, and once again, South East Queensland, we probably sound like a broken record, but they're attacking the left edge again.
Yeah, it's obviously a focus for them, and certainly a focus for the Marlins. That would indicate that they came with a plan to kick early.
Oh, the dummy half there was a little bit asleep, and Saleh capitalised. I think they'll call a knock-on here to SEQ after they tried the one-on-one steal.
No, he played the ball.
Yeah, but you can't dive in the ruck.
So Cooper Hursom having a few things to say about it. That was 50-50. I thought the dummy half did get caught having a little bit of a peek there, looking at which way they were set on either side of the field, and Saleh capitalised there after they got the quick play. There was a fantastic dummy run scoop from Khan Skips. Really made it up and made 10 metres.
Big opportunity here for the Marlins, Cam, with 4 minutes to go. If they can convert some of this pressure into some points as I speak too soon.
Here we go. He's a runaway here. Waylon Cordwell, has he got the speed? He doesn't. They're able to chase him. Terry Connors making the tackle. They're saying it wasn't a knock on. It went backwards. So this is tackle 2 now, right in front of the goalposts. Skips in a dummy half again. Through the hands. It's an easy try, though, for SEQ. Rain Bagan scores. It's their third 4-pointer. Just what the doctor ordered before the break.
Well, certainly what the doctor ordered for SEQ, and somewhat against the run of play. The error was made there, as we called earlier, about the dummy half not being in position. So the Marlins had done the hard work and had every opportunity, but turning it over on the first tackle, and the counter-attack from South East Queensland Green was outstanding. And once again, they've crashed over through big man Bagan on their left-hand edge.
Now the kick to come for South East Queensland. I think this is an important kick here. You want to make it. They've got to score 3 times in the second half, potentially. I mean, we've still got 3.5 minutes remaining in the first, but you want to make it. They've got a bit of work to do, the Northern Marlins, in the second half. If you're an SEQ Green member. Because at 12-0, that's only 2 converted tries. And we've seen that. And I think that this is where the Northern Marlins, maybe one of their strengths has been playing in the second half. They've certainly dominated the second halves, because if you have a look at their points, they've tended to not win the first half. It was like that yesterday. Central, I think, had the early points in the game, but they came home strong. The wet sail, as it's waved away, so it gives them a perfect opportunity potentially to come back with 2 converted tries.
Yeah, and that would be the message from their coaching staff as well, and that they're still very much in this contest, given that none of the tries have been converted. And to your point, Cameron, you're right. On day 1 of the carnival, I think from memory, in their first game, the Northern Marlins were down 12-0 at half time against SEQ White, and and scored 24 unanswered points in the second half running into the breeze. So certainly a team that has shown this week that they have the ability to chase points.
So just over 2 minutes remaining in the first half. High kick from the Northern Marlins.
Strong carry and contact.
I was going to say the contact was heavy too, and certainly a strong carry forward, but in saying that, they've dominated the ruck there, the Northern Marlins. Now for Abel Lottie. He goes to ground, nearing this western touchline. Skips now, out of dummy half.
Hold, go 3.
Through emotions, another strong carry there. Ciala going to ground.
Hold, go 4.
This has been an inspiring defensive set here from the Northern Marlins.
It was a 17 in the 18 for the Marlins. What's that, Benioni and Aldo. I think SEQ might think again before they run at those two guys.
So it was probably... Oh no, an error's come up for the Marlins. I was about to say it was a bit of a nothing kick because it went straight into the hands of the winger. But unfortunately for young for young Bo Jones, he's knocked it on. So I'll get another chance here, Southeast Queensland Green.
Boys, move this way.
I'll probably get 3 tackles. We got 40 seconds, maybe a few more.
Back a step, 7.
Yeah, their own worst enemy at the moment, the Marlins. Errors in their own end is just gifting golden opportunities for SEQ as they shift the ball to their left.
Yeah, Oapu again likes to run the ball to the line. He does just that. Thomas Lunny now bumping around defenders. He'll be finally put to ground. 30 metres from the Marlins line now.
Hold, 2.
Through the hands. Some solid contact again. Wrestling the play of the ball though. Takes 3 defenders to bring the second row to ground. Buzzer goes in the background. Last play coming up now for Southeast Queensland. Oapu chooses to run the ball. It's a great pass, a fantastic pass. And Matty Barron scores his second try. He bagged the first one to open the first half. And they score to make it 16-0. Kick to come going into the break.
Yeah, look, that's a dagger to the hearts of the Northern boys there. But what a pass from Curry Olapu there. He saw the space out on that left edge, and he's thrown at least a 20-metre spiral to hit the winger on the chest. And that's the double for Barrow, doing the right thing, holding his line there on the winger, holding his line there as all good wingers should, and crashes over in the corner. And with a kick to come, never say never, but 16-0 is certainly where the Water Dragons would want to be at half-time.
We spoke about it earlier, but Carl Oapu, the way he's just playing at the moment, certainly eyes up footy, just having a look, taking it to the line, and then had a look there, saw they were short on the left edge, and just delivered. And it was a perfectly timed cut-out ball. Sometimes they can go wrong and they get called forward, but this one, perfect out of the hands, and Matty Barrow claims it for his second, so a commanding 16-0 lead, potentially an 18-0 lead, and it obviously makes things tough for the Marlins mentally too. Just going into the break, you're thinking, well, it's only 12-0, that's only 2 tries. We could turn it around here in the second half, but they've kind of put the dagger in it.
Yeah, it'll be a tough road back from here, but I'm sure that their staff will speak to them at half-time about those crucial areas to fix up, and they'll continue to fight right to the death. Just on Olapu there, you're right, he's a very instinctive type of player. We've seen him throw the long pass, play short to his big second rower there in Vayavella a couple of times, and we've also seen him sort of show and go and take on the line. So very much playing on instinct and steering the ship here for Southeast Queensland in this 14 boys final.
Well, it's been a dominant display by the Water Dragons in this first 25 minutes. We will take a short break. We'll be back with the second half next. Cam Stallard, Glen Ottaway joining you for this one in this under-14 boys decider, and it's been all SEQ in the first half. Yeah, strong performance by SEQ, and as we called right towards the back end there, it was a bit of a dagger in the heart of Northern right at the end there, where the great long ball from Olapu hit the winger on the chest, and they've crashed over to take that 16-0 lead. Let's see. It's obviously crucial that the Marlins are the first to score in the second half. As we get underway with the second 40 here at second 25 here, sorry. And we're playing 40 minutes. We would have loved 40 minutes of last night's under 14 boys game. Effectively, that was a semi-final. As Southeast Queensland green side again, going to carry the ball forward. I think it's important that the Northern Marlins just complete sets here. They've obviously gone and kicked early for pretty much every set they have completed, Glenn. Yeah, look, that was obviously the play. I don't know whether that's an indication of what they've felt has been the conditions throughout the course of the carnival. They were playing with what has been the prevailing breeze. It's a difficult one to take. Shears takes it well. Whether that was the play all along, knowing what the prevailing conditions have been across the first 3 days. But I'm not sure, Cameron, today. I don't think the wind is going to be as significant a factor. It looks pretty still out there from where we sit. So be interesting to see if when chasing points, whether that tactic of trying to play it down to SEQ ends sort of sticks. So the Northern Marlins now running from left to right on your screen towards the southern end of the ground. Sunshine Coast Stadium here at the Sunshine Coast is at Kawana, Nicklin Way. So it's a great facility. It's been terrific these last 4 days. And they get the ball out now to the left-hand side of the field. And into touch on the eastern side of the field. Yeah, a little bit of promise there from the Marlins. They did have a sniff of some space down their left-hand edge there, but great numbers there from SEQ by rushing across and scrambling to push the winger into touch. Glenn, I guess, as the regional GM, you must have been happy with the last couple of days into this fourth and final day here at Sunshine Coast Stadium for the 2019 Junior State Champs. Yeah, absolutely. I think the football has been of high quality. The game's been of high quality, and they've certainly been close. And it sort of shows the depth of talent we have across the state when all regions in different years are showing up as competitive. The other thing I think I'm really pleased with Cameron is the venue, as you mentioned, here at Sunshine Coast Stadium, and of course Sunshine Coast Council managing this facility. I think events of this of this standing on our calendar need to come to our best venues, and I'm sure that the players have enjoyed the experience of being here at the stadium, and likewise parents have enjoyed watching from the comfort of the grandstand here at the stadium. Yeah, 100%. I mean, you've got to give a huge kudos to the ground staff here at Sunshine Coast Council. The field has been smashed over the last 4 days, and it hasn't been the kindest of weather either. I'm sure for those at home tuning in, they would have seen that it's been windy and rainy, and we've seen little bits of sunshine today. A great day with the sun out and just a few clouds in the sky, but the field is in top shape. Obviously, there's a few little patches you can see on the halfway line and on the sidelines, but overall, though, it's still a 10 out of 10. Yeah, you wouldn't be too concerned if you turned up and your field looked like this on day one, let alone after 4 days of footy and fairly constant rain throughout. Promising little push down the left-hand edge for SEQ there, but once again, some good scramble by the Marlins. So the Northern Marlins get the footy, was the last tackle. They just rolled the dice. Comfortable 16-0 lead, though they hold. Now, I think, again, important just to stay patient. 16-0, you want some points early in the game, but I think if they can just fix that completion rate, they'll be on their way to some success. A little half sneak there from Will England, the 7. Going out the back now for Devontae Order. I know this year the Northern Marlins, they not necessarily changed their selection process, but they brought a new team in, the North Queensland countryside, and in extension to Northern Territory players who come into their competition as well. They've really grown this year, the Northern Marlins. Yeah, I mentioned in the first half the Marlins' performances over the last few years, and by comparison how they've gone this year. And I think the changes to their development structures underneath that and the tie-in they've got up there with their intra-super cup clubs is really showing the result here. And the expansion of their program to include a Northern Country side was just a way of making sure that
all players from what's a really geographically diverse northern region get an opportunity to get to these types of carnivals. As Southeast Queensland making errors, so here's the first opportunity in the second half for the Marlins in attacking space.
Well, that's right. You've got a high Indigenous and Torres Strait Islander population in the northern parts of Queensland, and they can play footy. You know, you see the likes of those carnivals in the senior grades with the islands of origin at Padbadu and all that, and you know, with that North Queensland country and the further work that's being done up there, it's great to see these junior players starting to develop through, and it's been a huge year for the Marlins. Obviously, they won the women's state championships, and I guess just been a really successful year for the Marlins with both sides qualifying for the grand finals.
Yeah, that's right, and you talked about some of the players, the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders players, and look, not just about them, but of all of our remote regions across Queensland, the investment in the game is what makes make those opportunities real for those people. And as we know, there's enormous amounts of talent now playing at the national and certainly even in the Queensland Maroons and Harvey Norman Maroons teams that have been unearthed from very regional and remote parts of Queensland.
Steph Mooker is one.
Yeah, absolutely, and I see Steph. Recently picked up an NRLW contract off the back of that as well. So that's the pathways of the game working right there.
I think she's down to St. George, I think Steph is. As the last is kick from the Northern Marlins. A downfield kick, and it's picked up there by Matty Barrow. He's already scored 2. Probably a good chance of picking up a hat-trick in this match. Mind you, SEQ Green have got a bit of work to do here. The Northern Marlins certainly have had a better second half.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier in the half, Cameron, that patience was the key here, and I think for the Marlins, that was a really good set and showed some patience. Kick to a corner and make SEQ work it off their own line and hope for a mistake. They don't need to score off every set, but they do need to be the first to score in this half, the Marlins.
Well, this is the 4th tackle, and they kind of up the kick jammed them in, and it's forcing SEQ to kick early in the tackle count. It wasn't a bad kick there either from, I think it was Cooper Hersom who punted that one downfield. Will Shears carries it forward, and again, I think it's important they just get through this set of 6. Is there any chance of coming back? They need to score 3 times. But we've seen it happen. Not going to write them off yet. Still plenty of footy to be played here. Still got 2 games to go after this one too. Effectively, whilst it's not officially a final, it is in final conditions between the Central Crows and Southeast Queensland Water Dragons and the under-16 girls. Basically, Central have to win. So even if they only win, just the second half of the game, they get through. So they can get 4 points, but they can't get any less than 4 points.
Right, sounds like you spent the night doing the mathematics of it, Cameron. So I'll trust you in that. But it certainly should be a really great encounter. I think on the first day when those 2 teams play, there's only 2 points separating them. So expecting a really willing and close contest.
And then later on, the under-16 boys battle of the 2 countrysides in Northern and Central taking place. And well, in my time here at the State Junior Championships, we haven't seen SEQ not qualify for under-16 boys, but this year changing things up a little bit, which is great to see the depth of talent across the under-16 boys in the state. And a little bobble there in the tackle from Yanto Lee Miyashita.
Yeah, nice physical defence there by the Marlins to force the error. And back on those under-16s, Cameron, yeah, you're right. I mean, no disrespect at all to SEQ, but they certainly, to their credit, have been quite dominant across that age group for the last 2 or 3 years. So it is a surprise to not see them feature in the final, but what it does show is highlights the quality of football being played across the state.
The recent announcement of the Queensland City v Country under-16 boys games, I guess, what makes it great today, whilst SEQ, as we mentioned, have been dominant, but this year didn't qualify, is that the teams will be effectively battling off for those positions in the respective games. In the 1v2 game, they're playing off for country jerseys and country jerseys solely. And in that SEQ v SEQ game, they're playing off for city jerseys solely. So, the halves are battling each other. It just makes some really interesting and intriguing matchups.
Yeah, it does. And certainly that concept of the emerging player program through City Country, the City Country notion gives the game plenty of meaning, because we always like to, we always talk and see that rivalry between the city and the country across all sports, not just rugby league, but also probably most importantly, Cameron, from a Carroll point of view, it provides us with a greater reach around that emerging player and development program. So we actually bring 36 players into a camp and get to work with them around our our Queensland way and our origin legacy and things like that. So I think that as we hear a lot, the broader you've got that base, the stronger you can be at the pointy end. So I think that the concept of that city country, while having that nice sort of poetic meaning, also more importantly, creates good development opportunities for more players, which is also key.
Holding. Hold.
If the Harvey Norman Women's National Championships are anything to go by, it was a 16-all draw there too. Seems to be the 16s that we like. We're at 16-0 at the moment. Imagine the Marlins cross here. People scratching our heads.
Another 16-all result. Yeah. The city country there, I know for 2 years. It's only been 2 points separate. Is the big man with the charge.
Stand up. Left side holding.
So
Hold.
Northern Marlins in a good position here. Out of dummy half is Karisk. He's not the biggest. Rake.
Go for.
Plenty of speed though. They go short. Dribbled in the boot. Thorpe. It has to be battered dead there by Barrow. And a repeat set coming up in a much better second half from here, the Marlins. I think that they would have loved to come out of the dressing sheds in the first half and played footy like this.
Yeah, look, they've showed tremendous resilience in the second half, and to be honest, they've really dominated the second half. Most of the footy's been played down that southern end of the field. We are at that point though now with 13 minutes to go and still chasing the 16 points. They've really got to convert that pressure into points, within the next couple of minutes to remain in the contest.
There's a carry forward there for the big prop for Jamal Shibasaki.
Go on.
Options either side. They're going to go through to the lock forward. That is Saleh. 15 short of the line. Karisk, Thorpe. And then now to Benioni.
Together in square. Here we are. Holding. Hold. Go 3.
Peppering the Southeast Queensland green goal line. Thorpe again. This time runs the ball himself. 7 short. Quick play of the ball. In through the hands. Still running through. Shears, a good ball. It's open here. They've just got to find some room and they'll score. Terry Connors, I believe it is, who scores Northern's first try, and it keeps them in the game at 16 points to 4.
Yeah, great shift by the Marlins there to the left, and I thought for a minute there Connors might have blown the opportunity by not tipping on, but he backed himself, and plenty of pace, and he's obviously a strong little individual as well because he's carried a couple over the line with him. So a great try from the Marlins, and a sideline conversion to come, and if he can slot this over, it's very much game on.
He's done well with the kicking boots though, as Loloto Saleh, so whilst many would think, oh gee, it's going to be a tough kick, he has made these look easy. Tell you what, the kicking's been overall pretty good. What about Braden Pakes' efforts here on the sideline to lock the game up in the first day? And as cool as a cucumber he was, he just a bit of swagger.
I think that was probably 25-30 knot wins that day as well.
It was.
So.
Just sailed it over. We've seen
so you're backing him in over here, Cameron, are you? The commentator's cursor's on there?
Yeah,
good.
Yep. But we've seen some sensations. We should put a highlights package together of some of the plays. There's been a couple of try of the year situations play. Contenders, that's the word I was chasing. Thanks, Glenn. Particularly the Northern 16 boys, I think it was yesterday. There was one here on the southwestern corner where he's dived and he busted through 3 or 4 defenders, and that kick's seen better days. It stays at 16 to 4. He was able to bust through 2 or 3 defenders, and if you thought that was impressive, we'll wait till the put down. He kind of dived in the air and got the ball down. So. Yeah,
and that's what people remember, don't they? They come to these events and have a great experience, and they remember those highlight moments. And kids and teammates and parents take home some great memories of the time they dived over in the corner and scored that miracle try.
So the game restarted. 16 points to 4, 10 to go. They've got a little sniff here, the Northern Marlins. If they can get a try in the next set or two, it'll make things interesting. We might be in for a grandstand finish. It's been like that the last few years with this under 14 boys decider. And at this stage of the match, the Northern Marlins look the goods to win the second half, although with this game, it doesn't make much of a difference. Unfortunately for young Dykes, though, he has lost the footy. So the pressure bursts, and SEQ get the ball down Marlins' end.
Yeah, a little unfortunate there because, as we've called, they've built pressure over the first 15 minutes of this second half and working it off their own line. And an unfortunate error by there for the Marlins. And I guess the opportunity for the SEQ here now is to ice the game, really.
Well, that's right. A try will all but seal the deal for them, which means the trophy is going to have to be super glued back together after it was split last year. It'll stay down in southeast Queensland, but this time the green will be the outright winners.
And if we can just make comment there, Cameron, on the under-14 trophy this year, as noted in the program, it'll be called the Michael Pease Shield. Of course, Michael Pease being a long-serving administrator within the Queensland Rugby League, retiring at the end of this year, and I think it was a great opportunity, knowing that trophy wasn't named, to be able to recognise Michael's service to the game over 30 plus years, and there's probably not a job at the QLD that he hasn't done, to be fair.
Great character of our game, I think, Peasy is.
Great character of our game. Yeah, absolutely is, and he's an absolute gentleman, and as I said, he's seen a lot of change. He's invested in a lot of change, and he's led a lot of change across the business. So yeah, it'll be a nice reward. As much as Michael doesn't want the acknowledgement, it'll be a nice moment this afternoon to present the first Michael Pease Shield, maybe, to his home region.
I was going to say, should this game stay, and it could be all wrapped up very, very soon. Dummy half run, but they were able to get underneath the post. It might be just a extra little bit sweeter that the inaugural Michael Pease Shield goes to an SEQ side, and it looks like he's going to get over. Devontae Vayavella bags his double, and it is all but over. The SEQ Water Dragons extend their lead to 20 points to 4 with under 8 minutes remaining.
Yeah, Vayavella has started the first half. It was very dominant and has picked up where he's left off there. He's a strong, fast, powerful young man, and that close to the line, running that line, very hard to stop.
It's been unlucky for the Marlins there. I guess it just come off the back of the errors down their set, and then again, where they seem to make errors, it just compounds because they gave away, they stripped the ball, penalty, and then points came. And that's one thing SEQ have been good at today, is capitalising on the opportunities presented to them. And well done to the Green Water Dragons with 7 to go. You, like we said, almost think that it is signed, sealed, and delivered.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's us back out to a 16-point lead now. So we're at least 3 converted tries away, and with 6 minutes remaining post this kick, and as we know, competition format, there's no time off. It'd be a long road back, and almost a miracle, I think, for the Marlins. But to their absolute full credit, they've really been accountable this second half and stood up and made SEQ earn every minute and every point of it.
And good kick there. The flags rise for Cooper Hersom's conversion. 22 points to 4. 18 points. It's going to make things awfully hard with 6.5 minutes remaining. But although this game is probably lost for the Northern Marlins, they've got a fantastic opportunity in the under-16 boys game a little bit later. Yesterday was a dress rehearsal for it. Central got a pretty convincing win there, but in saying that, I don't know whether both teams went 100% in the game, just because they want to keep a little bit of fuel in the tank for today, because it doesn't matter what happened yesterday. It's all what happens at 12 o'clock this afternoon.
Yeah, that's right. I think that will be a great contest. Central got away with it sort of towards the end there, but as you said, the meaning and what those boys have turned up for is the game today. So interested to see who's recovered best from 3 hard days of football, and I'm sure it'll be a contest that's very fitting of football that we've seen throughout the week.
In the Central under-16 boys, guess they use the old famous tagline that the band's kind of got back together with that under 13 boys side that started a few years ago in Toowoomba that won the competition, and then they were the side, the under 14 boys, a majority of that team who drew that game with SEQ 2 years ago here at Sunshine Coast. And last year, obviously, with them being 15, they were through the schoolboy pathway and now back in this club pathway and are back in another final.
And I think there's a strong contingent of boys in that side from the southwest area of Central, and the 15 schoolboys you talked about, it was the Darling Downs side that won the state championship at a school level, including these boys. So, yeah, they've played a lot of football together, which obviously helps going into, a final like this. So yeah, it'll be an intriguing game. Looking forward to the call.
Yeah, kick off at 12 p.m. and the next game too is effectively a final between Central and SEQ. As you mentioned, Central just need to win. Even if they're trailing at the break, they can get the 4 points on offer at least. There's a big carry forward there. Oh, just short. I thought he was about to point to the spot. Oh, he's had a go.
He's had a crack. Double movement.
It's a bit of a shame there for the Northern Marlins. Hoping to score some consolation points.
I think Big Outer was looking forward to finishing his carnival off with a try there, but fortunately fell short and double movement. And you should see SEQ now with an injury to order there. Kick for touch here and probably run the clock out.
So a bit of claret coming out. I think it's of order at the moment. He's just been ruled with the blood bin.
Just take him off, we'd say.
And I think, yeah, might have got hit in the snoz there. That's what he looks like he's holding. We'll get cleaned up as the penalty goes to South East Queensland green.
Just back here, back here.
Player of the carnival contentions, Glenn. It's being selected by the selectors and all that. They've done it through a 3-2-1 system this year.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts out of the entire carnival?
I don't watch enough of the football, Cameron, I'm afraid. I don't want to make a comment on that. If I had sat down like the selectors do and watch every minute of every game, I could form an opinion. But
out of this game,
that's their job, and I'm happy that it's their job and not mine.
Out of this game, who's been some standout players you like to mention?
Certainly Vayavella, the edge back rower here on SEQ's right hand edge has been strong. Started the game strong and set the tone for this contest really, and certainly Ola Apu from the 6 from SEQ as well as we called in the first half, has played very instinctively and a lot of good variety in his game. The Northern guys have tried hard. I think certainly Big Shibasaki has carried the ball strongly and very willingly as well. But they've just fallen short here and been outgunned in this one. But they should still walk away from this tournament with their head up very high as our man Vayavello.
Hat-trick time for Vayavella.
So that might seal it, I think, for who I think is the player of the match anyway. Finds himself in the right place at the right time again and reached out there and may have done a bit of damage to his shoulder by the look of it. Oh, he's up again.
Another try assist to Carl Oahu. Just their whole left edge here for South East Queensland Green. The combination has really gelled, particularly in this match, off the back of the 5/8 play in Oahu to the line. And then the edge back row of Vayavella, doing a lot of things not only with the ball but off the ball too, just pushing up and, giving options for Oahu to play, and of course Matty Barrow on the edge. He's just been at the right place at the right time and he's bagged 2 tries for his efforts. But you're right, with the Northern side, they've really been impressive this carnival as well. Shibasaki's efforts have been good. I think Henry Thorpe in at 6 has also been good, and Lalatu Saleh I think has played pretty well in the middle of the field as well throughout the carnival. So it is a little bit of a shame that the Northern Marlins have fallen just short here, but probably the first half just hurt them a little bit, that it got away from them a little bit at 16 points to 0. If they could have duplicated that footy that they played, the kind of footy they played in the opening stages of the second half, it would have been a real ball contest, I reckon, a real arm wrestle.
Yeah, absolutely, and they probably just run out of puff. We talked about in the pre-game, their ability to back up as a sideline conversion waved away. We talked about in the pre-game their ability to back up after what was a pretty tough contest late yesterday afternoon, and it was always going to be difficult for them to chase points in the second half, but the inability to do that is certainly not reflective of their effort, that's for sure.
No, definitely not. And from Central and SEQ wide as well, who we're still trying to confirm the score there. It was 12-10 on just not 100% ironclad sure that it was the final score 12-10 to Central, but we'll try and get that confirmed for you. But of course, we've got the live blog running on the QRL website as well, so we'll have all the points and the final standings up there throughout the day. The under-16 girls game coming up next here on QRL.com.au, and they kick it into touch. That'll be it here at Sunshine Coast Stadium. The under-14 boys goes to Southeast Queensland Green. This year, outright winners, 26 points to 4.
Yeah, look, great final there, and full credit to the Water Dragons. That was a fairly clinical display in the end by them. Northern Marlins bit back at them hard early in that second half, but for the most part, the Water Dragons withstood that challenge and then scored a couple of late ones in the second half to take this 14 boys final quite comfortably in the end. So full credit to them and their coaching staff on a wonderful carnival. 14 boys across the board, as we called a number of times, was a real toss of the coin job across all 4 teams at the event, and that's really what we want.
It sets ourselves up now for this under-16 girls clash, and Glenn will be back at 12 o'clock to call all the action in the under-16 boys.
Looking forward to it.